I'm getting ready to kind of confess to you something that I feel bad about it because I don't want it to be a stigma. I don't want you to think less of me from what I'm about to tell you because it's true. I'm an abductee. I've been abducted in the past. Actually, I've been abducted more times than I can count. There are times in my life where I wake up, I'm not sure what day it is. There are times when I lose track of time, like I've lost hours and hours and hours on end. I didn't know where they were. I didn't know what was happening. There are times I would forget to eat. I would forget to drink. And I wasn't sure what it was. For the longest time, I thought it was the little green men come and get me. But it wasn't. What it was television, my phone, my computer, and everything else. And I think a lot of us in here suffer with, the kids are calling it the death scroll, where we're scrolling through our phones or binge watching TV. And I'm here tonight to talk about that because it's very important that we understand that we are being abducted. We're not being abducted, like I said, by a person. So if you look at the definition of abducted, I was looking at this, it says, abduction is to take someone away by force or by deception. To carry a person off against their will or without them fully realizing what's happening. We have a generation of believers that have been taken, not by aliens, but by distraction, and most of them don't even know what's happening. When I tell you that I've been abducted, I'm being very serious. When I said that I would forget to eat or I would forget to do other things, because I was so engrossed in what I was doing. Kim and I were married, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 10, not even, no, it wasn't even that long. It was early on in our marriage, so it was about 5 years into our marriage. And she bought a video game for me for Christmas. It was called Max Payne. Has everybody heard of Max Payne? It's an older video game. Okay. Literally played that game over the holiday season, 8 hours at a clip. Literally sat in a chair in front of my computer playing this game. People go, oh, this is a time waster. Oh no, it's a time killer, it's a time stealer. Yeah. So when I spend that much time looking at a game, what am I not doing? We'll forget about the reading, forget about the praying for a second, because we're going to get into that, but I would literally neglect my family. And that's what's happening now. We're literally playing video games and neglecting what's important. We're going to get to see where Satan is using this now, where he is using what we have and we think is benign, or we think is, hey, that's nothing wrong with playing a video game. Look, I'm playing a video game with my kids. Or, hey, I had a bad day, I need a stress relief. I want to play some video. Or I want to look at Facebook and keep scrolling. Or I want to sit back and watch Netflix. Oh, I got to watch the whole season of Rizzoli and Isles. Got to do it. I've done that. So what I'm telling you is something I have done. And many of you probably have done it too, if you admitted it. When I think about the time that I wasted, the time that I wasn't able to do the things I needed to do because I needed an escape. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that stuff. That was years ago in my previous life. But now I find myself looking for things to take me away from the stresses of life. How many of you binge watch television? Raise your hand. How many of you scroll on your telephone? How many of you are on a computer working? Are we really working on the computer? Yes. Or are we working at our computer on the phone, getting things done and going, oh, look, Susie just had another puppy. We do that. How many times have you been like, ooh, look, oh, that's a really cute, oh, I like that dress, as pastor speaking? Oh, I just got a text message. Oh, yeah, pastor's talking. Uh-huh, yeah, I'll see you after. Oh, I hope it doesn't go too far because we got lunch. We do this. We are so addicted to these electronics. But we're more so distracted because of them. I'm the king of distraction. I really am. And excuse me for a second because my iPad has a mind of its own. Here's what's interesting. Joshua 24. As for me and my house, I will. Right. So, think about this. This abduction is rarely just personal. Where the head of the home goes, the home tends to follow. And I've seen this in my own life. Husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, you know, if you're quietly carried off by distractions, it doesn't stop there. Your children watch you, watch what you do, and if you're doing that, it has now become normal to them. Yeah. I have grandchildren. How many people have children, grandchildren? Raise your hand. How many of them can't sit at the dinner table without an iPad in front of them? Why? Do we do that to distract them so that we can be busy cleaning, that we can work around the house, or so that we can scroll on our phones? Are we using it as a babysitter? I think a lot of us tend to do that. When they get crazy, I don't know, there's something about kids that, you know, they get to a certain age and the crazy level goes up. It doesn't come down, it goes up. And you're sitting there going, I know I shouldn't beat my children, but I'm thinking about it right now. I remember as a little kid, and I look at my grandson, and my wife says to me, that was you. No, it wasn't. It was not me. I love stories. I'll tell you a story about my mom. My mom was a single parent. She took me to Disney World. When Disney World was open 2 years. That tells you how old I am. We're sitting there, and I remember walking down the Magic Kingdom with my mom, holding my hand. Because it was crowded. She's holding my hand. We're walking down. She's looking down at me. I'm looking up at her. And I can remember the words. Like, can anybody remember something your parents said to you? Like, just, it's in your heart. You remembered it. So we're walking down, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her. And all she says to me, she pulls me really close, like this, and says, if you ask me for one more thing, I'll kill you right where you stand. The Magic Kingdom is how that went for me, okay? So, we didn't have, I think if we had that stuff when I was a kid, I would have been there with a computer. I'm from the TV generation, you know, we love TV and everything else. But I learned this from my family because that was a family thing. We used to sit down and watch television together. We also did something that was very unusual. We actually had dinner together. With no distractions. None. Like, we didn't sit in front of the TV with TV trays. We didn't do any of that stuff. We sat at the dinner table, and we had dinner. So, Satan rarely destroys a Christian overnight. He distracts them to death. We're not seeing, he doesn't need us to deny Christ. He needs us to ignore him. He just needs our attention. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and he's got us. How many of us wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is check our phone? Is something important happened last night? I don't know. I have consciously not used my phone. I have something that most of you probably don't have in your home, and that's a landline. Does anybody know what a landline is? Reason why I have a landline is because I don't want you bothering me when I'm at home. My phone rings at my office constantly. All I do is hear ringing. People answering the phone. Dr. Strickland's office, how can I help you? I was like, you can hear this throughout the whole office. So I turned around and I said, I don't put it on disturb, but people will text me and they go, why didn't you answer me? Because I'm at home. I don't want to be bothered by anything. So if you call in the middle of the night, I'm jumping up and go, who died? Because when you call me that early in the morning, something's got to happen. Unfortunately, that's what happens. Or, somebody's not going to call you and say, you know what? Dad, I need a piece of construction paper for Nicholas. Do you have any? No, I don't. How many of you have ran out in the middle of the day to get construction paper for your, or something for your child for school? It's always like this. So what I'm saying is, I don't look at this thing first thing in the morning. I consciously try not to. Does that mean I don't look at this? Of course I do. I literally, it happened today. I'm expecting some important stuff done. I have to check on some things. I get up. I usually get up about 3:30 in the morning. And all I want to do is go look. Oh, let me look at this. But the first thing I start to do now is I go down and I read my devotions. I'm not telling you that to say, hey, look at that, I'm such a great Christian. No, what I'm telling you is I have to force myself to do it. Yeah. It's not something that comes natural. We have created a church generation who is more looking for something to take their mind off of reality than looking for the reality changer. We don't do that. We don't ask God into our situations. We try to fix our own situations until it gets so bad, then we're like, Lord, help me, please. I want to try to go the opposite way. The older I get, the closer I want to get to God. But it's so hard with all the distractions that we have. And I'm using distractions and abduction the same, because that's what it is. The devil, it's easy for the devil to get a hold of us now. It's easier now than it ever has been. If I said to you, denounce Christ or this, denounce Christ or that, you would puff up and go, no way, I'm not doing that. But you're being sucked away slowly by all the distractions that are in our lives. All of them. I'm just as guilty. I have to fight that. It's like children. You don't have to tell children to be bad. They're going to do it anyway. And as children of God, He's telling us, come here, come to me. Where does God meet His people? In the Bible, where does God meet His people? Not in the wind, not in the fire, not in the earthquake, but in the soft voice. If we're so busy being distracted, abducted, we are going to miss what God has for us. It is so important. The more I thought about this, the more I'm like, oh man, I really want to talk about this. But it is so important that we know we have a problem that is really wrapped up into something that's normal. There's nothing wrong with your phone. There's nothing wrong with watching television. There's nothing wrong with being on your computer. There's nothing wrong with being on your laptop. It's the new idols. That's what's happening. In Jesus' day, we talked about money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not quite, just paraphrase that. But so our technology is opening up new doors and putting things in our faces that need not be there. We tend to look more for something that's going to make me feel better rather than going out and helping other people. How many of you like to be alone? And when I say alone, I'm saying being home not by yourself, but being home with, my 4 by no more, kind of hanging out, close the door. This is my place. I want to be safe here. I'm safe here. I don't want you coming in and messing my groove up. I'm like that. How many times have you opened up your home and you got some of the greatest joy because you did it? We are designed for community. We are not designed for isolation. And that we tend to allow these distractions to prevent us from growing. COVID was the worst thing that could ever happen to us. It locked us in our homes and we got used to it. I believe the devil used COVID to get us off of what was important in life. So if we look at Luke, Jesus comes to your home with 2 sisters in Luke 10-41. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen the good part, which she has not taken away. It will be not taken away from her. So, what was Mary doing? What was Martha doing? What was she doing? She was cleaning the house. She was making dinner. All right. So, Jesus never called her out on that, did he? He never said she was doing something wrong. He never said, hey, you better stop that. You better get over here. Sit at my feet. Never said that. Never said that one time. He doesn't rebuke her for cooking. Hospitality wasn't the problem. Serving wasn't the problem. What was the problem? Distraction. She was distracted. Think about that. The Lord is in your house and you're busy cooking for him. Nothing wrong with cooking for him. But what about spending time with him? What about legitimately spending time with him? How many of you are married? Raise your hand. How many of you have significant others, have children? How many of you love family gatherings at the holidays? How many of you are in the kitchen during the holidays while everybody else is having fun? We do that way too often. And we do it all too naturally. There are times when we are trying to be the host and hostess and we're missing out on the huge prize of hanging out with people. I used to have friends that we would go to their house and you'd be like, do they clean this place? It's like, it's a shambles. But they were there with us when we were there. Didn't matter what was on the floor. They didn't care. They just wanted you there. They wanted you to be with them. They weren't picking up after you. You put your fork down, your plate's gone. There are people like that. How many people are like that? It's like, I got to clean up. I'm cleaning up as I'm working. I'm cleaning up as I'm cooking. Not me. I cook, leaving messes, I'm cooking. My wife goes, you're a messy cook. Get out of the kitchen. Get out of the kitchen. I'll clean it up. Don't worry about it. I'm making dinner. I'm having fun. We think we're having fun, and we are. Personally, I love to experience cooking with people. Like, as I'm, hey, try this. I love that stuff. I would be great as a sous chef. Like, hey, try this. Here, try that. I would have fun doing that. Not that I would want to do that, really, because, people can be rude when you feed them food. But when you're with people, be with them. When you're with Jesus, be with Jesus. And that's the hard part. We don't, and I tell this a lot, if you've listened to me speak before, we can't touch Jesus physically. But we can touch him spiritually by giving us time, opening up our hearts, opening up our minds, making sure that we're engaged with him. As I've gotten older, the more I've gotten engaged with Jesus, I find that my peace is coming a little bit faster, even during the really bad situations. We're going through some stuff right now that the closer I get to Jesus, the better I feel. It's not changing the situation. I'll just be honest with you. It's not changing it at all. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's getting worse. I don't understand that, but I'm just being honest about that. But I cannot not want to be closer to him because I believe that at one point there will be a breakthrough. And if there's a breakthrough in my life or in your life, and you attribute it to something you did, it's a mistake. There's nothing I can do to make things better. I've learned that a long time ago. I've been in practice now 34 years. And when I first started practice, I did a lot of advertising, getting people to know who I was, did a lot of things like that. Anything from TV commercials to doing my own radio show and everything else. Do you know what form of advertising brought more people into my office than any of that? Well, word of mouth, of course, but it didn't matter what I did. When I stepped away from trying and let God do it, it changed the whole atmosphere of it. Literally. How many of you have prayed for something, wanted something, sought Jesus, and then there it was? It may not be what you wanted, but it's what you needed. Because you weren't distracted. You weren't abducted by the world. I know that a lot of times when we talk, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, really? I know this. I thought I knew it too, until I realized I was doing this. Like, as I'm doing this lesson, I realized that I was getting sucked in. As I'm doing this lesson, I'm trying to check this for information. I'm concentrating on God's word, and yet I'm distracted. That's just craziness. So what's dragging you around your own house while Jesus is in the next room? Think about that. When you go home tonight, what is driving you to do other things other than hanging out with Jesus? Is reading the Word boring? Some people it is. Our attention spans are terrible. The enemy has a new battlefield. For 2,000 years, weapons against the church were used. Every single time the church was persecuted, Christians were killed. What happened to the church? It grew. Through the persecution, through the killings, through everything, the church grew. So if you were the enemy and persecution failed for 2,000 years, what would you try next? Would you attack the church with a sword? Nah. Would you take away the Bibles? Nah. Would you make sure they never had 10 minutes of quiet time to open their Bible that's on the nightstand? That's how we're being attacked, guys. This may be for somebody in this room. This may be for somebody that's on the internet. We are being abducted. We are being distracted. We are being attacked. And we don't even realize it. when I was doing this, I was like, man, everybody knows this. Yeah, we know it, but what are we doing about it? What are we changing? What are we making a difference with? If we leave here today and listen, oh yeah, that was great, Doc spoke today, yeah, it was good, yeah. Go back to what we were doing without thinking about it. If we think about it, we just take a little bit of time and go, I'm going to be with Jesus. I'm going to read God's Word. I'm going to do a devotion before I get up. I'm going to do a devotion before I grab my coffee. I'm not asking you to carry around your Bible all day long, even though you do. At least I do. It's on my phone. But if you pick it up and read a verse, your day's going to change. There was a study that was done that people that, and I think you were in the class when we talked about it, Katie, weren't you? We talked about it. If you are in the Bible 4 days a week, it will change your life. 3 days, not so much. 2 days, 1 day, no. 4 days was like the magic number. If you're in your Bible 4 days a week, your life will start to change. You're like, I don't have that kind of time. You don't have the time to waste, because let me tell you something. It's coming quick. Whether you want to think about it, we can be distracted all day long. Jesus is coming regardless. I don't know when. We can get 1 million views if I tell everybody he's coming October 22nd, 2026. But that's not true. We don't know when Jesus is going to come. We don't know when he's going to be here. We don't know that. So why are we being abducted and distracted and lied to? I have not seen anything on my phone, Facebook ads or anything else that was real. If you take baking soda, vinegar, salt, and a shot of vermouth, you'll lose 47 pounds in 3 days. That's what people are saying. You got that Amish guy. I don't know if you've seen him. He's telling you all this crazy Amish stuff that you can do, and you'll lose 400 pounds in a month. And you're going like, really? Let me see the rest of that. Oh yeah, visceral belly fat. I don't like visceral belly fat. We look at this stuff and we believe it to be true. I have patients telling me this stuff. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Are you believing the stuff that you're watching? Sometimes you do. Listen, I binge watch too. I'm not saying I don't do it. I pick some of the binge stuff that I'm watching. I don't know, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Have you ever seen the new thing that's coming out where Chuck Norris is kicking everybody in the videos? Have anybody ever seen that, or is it just me? Well, now they got a new one where Clint Eastwood shoots things and he goes, make my day. And you watch it, and the next thing you're doing, you're like, oh my gosh, look, that's so funny. My sister-in-law turned me on to that, and I'm sitting here going like, I have just been abducted. I've wasted my time. Now, if you're going to waste your time, prioritize your time wasting. Take care of Jesus first. Deal with what God has for you. Read his word. Understand what he says. Apply it to what you're doing. And when that happens, then go binge watch. I guarantee you're not going to binge watch as much if you make it your priority. Why is our phones, why is our things that distract us, our televisions, our computers, having us held hostage, abducted, when the creator of the universe is right here? Why do we allow that? I can't answer that question. That is an individual question that we all have to ask. Unfortunately, it's something we need to be asking quickly, because it's happening. Okay? None of the things we talked about are sins by itself. The phone's not a sin. Shows we feed and watch, the games, the news. None of that's a problem. It's when we make it our idols. I'm going to ask a question. Be honest with me. I've been talking now for about 20 minutes. How many of you are starting to feel that maybe I got some idols in my life? I'm telling you something. I tell it every time I'm here. This is hard to do. It's hard to stand. I don't know how Pastor does it every week. I'm honored that he allows me to do it. I'm honored that he allows others to do it too. I learn. I get it from Tanya, Tish. Get them all. I get it. I get a lot from that. Tiff, I want to say something all the time. Tiff, all the time. I always mess your name up, and I'm so sorry. So, if nothing convicts you, let's talk about some numbers. Let's talk about some stats, some statistics, some science. I love science. So, sometimes we need to see it in black and white, for sure. The average American now spends, you ready for this? Over, 7 hours a day looking at a screen. That's almost a full-time job. If I could get paid for screen time, I could quit my day job. I find myself watching people on YouTube that I'm really not that interested in. But I do it anyway. I don't spend 7 hours a day on my screen. I don't. You know. How many have an iPhone? How many it tells you your screen time? Did you notice that it tells you your screen time and it says how to increase it? Think about that. Your phone's telling you how to increase the time on it. It's telling you what to do. How many times do we go down a rabbit trail with ChatGPT? Grok or one of the other AIs? For it to diagnose whatever. I'm guilty of that. I did it today. I had one of those little vacuum cleaners, the Ryobis, but it wasn't Ryobi. It was an Edify or something like that. And it was like, it wouldn't do squat. And I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. And here I am like, oh, turn it off. That was smart. I had to ask AI to tell me to turn my machine off. All right? Usually when you had a computer years ago, how many people had computers years ago? You smacked it. Yeah. You think I'm kidding? How many people have actually hit a computer? Raise your hand. Okay, I thought I was the only one. So here's the thing. So 7 hours a day. Teenagers, over 9 hours a day. Teenagers, over 9 hours a day. I think that this is kind of wrong, to be honest with you. I think it's almost from the age we give them a tablet or phone or whatever, they can't stop. I was talking to a patient yesterday, and he had his phone in his pocket. His 1-year-old granddaughter pulls out his phone and just scrolls. Really? I'm not talking to you. The Siri just answered me. I didn't even call her. She's answering me. We're too attached to these things. These are our idols. We need to put them down. Lock them in a drawer. Throw away the key for a little bit. I guarantee you'll pick it up in 20 minutes. So the teenagers average 9 hours. It's like them having a second job to feed. No wages, no rest. No one clocks out. The average person checks their phone, you ready for this? Every 10 minutes. I think it's more than that. I really think it's more than that. Real quick, I go off a tangent for a second because I want to talk about the olden days. How many of you had phones that flipped and buzzed on your hip? How many of you have had that phone buzz on your hip and you're in the shower? Oh, come on. You've never had that mystery buzz? You've never had the buzz of the phone and it's not there? Literally? I used to have my phone like right here all the time. You know, like pictures. I could do whatever I want with it. But it would buzz so much that even when it wasn't on me, it buzzed. I felt the buzzing sensation. It's weird. It's something crazy. But here's what's nuts. And this should stop us cold, seriously. In 2004, the average person could focus on a screen for 2.5 minutes before switching it. Today, 47 seconds. 47 seconds. And I said, no way, this is impossible. How many of you watch YouTube? Maybe watched YouTube? Okay. How many of you watch shorts on YouTube because the videos are too long? A lot of people. That's why shorts, on my videos that I post, my shorts get all the views, my videos get hardly any views. And we're commenting on shorts, and there's a point to this, we're commenting on the shorts that we're viewing, but we don't know the context of the short. Are you following what I'm saying? If we're not engaged with what God is telling us, we're getting the shorts, and we can't get engaged. If we do 40 seconds of God, we're going to get nothing. You have to put a little effort into it. If you could put an effort into 7 hours a day watching Netflix or being on your phone or doing whatever, because we do everything on these things. If you could do that, and if you spend an hour of that time with Jesus, it'll revolutionize your life. I have to make the time. And can I really be truly honest with you about something? Because I know you guys feel the same way. Sometimes I'm reading and going, let me listen to it while I'm doing something else. I can multitask. I'm very good at that. So I can listen and find something and go, oh, I need to highlight that and stop it. But that's not how I want to read my Bible. God doesn't want me partially. He wants me fully. If He created me just a little lower than the angels because He loves and cares about me, why should I not show Him that kind of care? If you are married, if you have children, if you have a significant other, and you spend as much time as you do with Jesus, you won't have a relationship. I'll go as far as say that. Hear that again. If you spend as much time with your family as you do with Jesus, you will not have that relationship. He's not asking for everything. He's asking for your time, and when you have it, and when you give it all to Him. Focus on it. He's not telling you not to look at your phone. He's not telling you not to look at Netflix. He's not telling you to not be with people. He's like, give me some time. I love you. Let's have a conversation. Even if it's 10 minutes, have a conversation with me. And be all in for 10 minutes. Abduction, to take somebody away, we talked about that. But here's the thing, and as I'm closing this out, for where your treasure is, there your heart is also. That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense when we hear it in a different context. When we read it just as a reading and we don't talk about what's going on and finishing up, it doesn't make that much sense. Now, in Revelation, Jesus writes this letter to the church of Ephesus. It says, nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee because you have lost your first love. We have lost the love of Jesus. Not He loving us loving Him. It's not condemnation. So diagnosis is not always an act of love because you can't treat disease you refuse to name. I had to put the doctor thing in there, I'm sorry. So, it is a diagnosis, and a diagnosis is always an act of love because you can't treat a disease you refuse to name. Let this kind of sink in. Satan doesn't need to steal your salvation, to steal your usefulness. He doesn't need you to deny Christ. He only needs you to ignore him.